You might be asking, why am I in front of a Wendy's? I'm gonna be asking Wendy's. No. What's up, guys? Currently, I'm in Virginia, actually no longer in Massachusetts area, but I did just get to play Maple Hill, considered the greatest disc golf course on the planet Earth, actually. According to UDisc and everyone else gets fan vote, I know that's debated, but today I thought it'd be fun to talk about an amateur disc golfer's perspective on playing Maple Hill Golds, one of the hardest disc golf courses of all time. And the professionals just got to play it, so we get a little bit more of a comparison on how they get to play and how I get to play. But enough rambling about that, let's just jump straight into the hole. Going into hole one, it's one of the hardest shots of the day, it feels, because one, it's your first shot, you have to throw over a big pond, it's a smash, you're just stepping up to this beautiful course with probably the highest expectations you're going into any other course, at least I have, because I had to hear Swiss Cheese, yes, the one with all the holes in his game, tell me for the past 3 years on how Maple Hill was the greatest course and I had to get out here, and now 3 years later, I'm finally out here. But to just make my nerves even worse, we have Simon Lizotte watching us tee off. I'm not even kidding, he just randomly pulled up in his Audi, here he is, popping out, and here now I have to tee off in front of him, but he actually had an absolute smash. I was telling Swiss the strategy on hole one, at least in my eyes, is throw something stable that you know is not going to turn on you and get away from you and just kind of fade into the water, or turn into the water, I should say. So I went with something more stable, a destroyer, throw it as hard as I possibly could, and just let it make sure it gets straight and fades. So that's what I did. Crossed the pond. Had a nice easy upshot with the Sexton Firebird to put myself circle two, just to miss a circle two, but I'm okay with the easy pars on Maple Hill. Especially hole one, we will take an easy par at Maple Hill. Heading on to hole two, I really didn't know what my shot was going to be. I know in years past, pros throw rollers or just now bomb flip ups, so that's what I went with. I went with the Clash Disc Tunney, super beat up. You guys probably know this by now. Put it on a nice little hyzer line to let it flip up all the way to the basket, and I set myself up. I said circle two in the video, but I actually put myself in circle one looking for a birdie, and got the first birdie of the day on hole two. One that I didn't think I was going to hit, but a hard hole that I was expecting to not do so great on was hole number three. Now for birdie, I honestly have no idea what I could ever do, so I just threw a honey thinking I could flip up through the narrow gap, but like I do and miss the shot and just take a nice easy par. And like I said on hole one, we're going to take nice easy pars if we can get them, especially stepping onto that hole. I really didn't think there was a possibility that I was ever going to birdie it in a million years, so I was okay with just taking an easy par, no stress, no long hits and putts. So moving on then to hole four, and playing the Glitch World Championships, this was the first bogey, and I went with a jump putt off the tee. I no longer wanted to do that. That was not the shot. So I went with just a down the middle gap and knocked a tree right in front of me. So no progress was really getting made there, but I had Swiss Cheese to bail me out. If you guys don't know, we play at all these top courses, Swiss Cheese and I, and we play double style so we can get a little bit of a better perspective on things. So yeah, I probably would have just parred this one out, but Swiss, being him, got down there for birdie. So we took a birdie there as a team. Heading on to hole five, this has been my nemesis hole all week at Maple Hill. I lost two of my destroyers on this one. One I freshly bought as well, so unfortunate on that one. And the other one being my last four-time Paul Macbeth destroyer. So honestly, fuck hole five at Maple Hill. Didn't give it enough power, right in the drink, taking a B stroke, but it's okay. Hole six then, I never got to play from the gold position yet, so this was my first time stepping up to this one. And in the Glitch World Championships, I triple bogeyed it. So I stepped up, wanted a hyzer flip honey shot. That kind of seems to be the game of the game here at Maple Hill when you get long, narrow fairway shots. I really just like putting my honey on a hyzer line, letting it flip up all the way down the fairway. That's just kind of my style of disc golf, and I really enjoy these type of shots. Hole four, I've been doing this common mistake of where I just don't put enough hyzer, and I throw it with too much speed, and I just turns really fast on my hand. Somehow it rolled back in bounce. Me and Swiss Cheese have no idea how this was even possible, but we're not going to complain. Putting ourselves up for an easy par again, not going to complain. Hole seven, I absolutely suck. Swiss Cheese saved me with an up the gut part in the middle. Again, really most of these holes that we weren't birdieing, it was, hey, Swiss, put it in the middle of the fairway so we can make sure we get down to the basket easy enough, and that's what we were able to do on hole seven. Swiss Cheese getting a solo par there. Heading then into hole eight, which for me was the infamous hole 8, because I became an 8 hole, which those are the spectators who sit around hole 8 the entire tournament. I became one of them, so I got to see I actually got to see every single pro play this hole for 2 days at least. So I had a lot of expectations for myself going into the goals of, hey, I really don't want to miss this right now. So stepping up to that, I went destroyer because I didn't want to miss the island, and I was scared of losing any other of my prime discs in my bag. So I went with the same destroyer that I went with on hole 1. Same mentality. I tried to put a little bit more anhyzer to get a full nice flex to and I was absolutely terrified that I threw it way too low right at the water. Ended up getting a skip at the last second in bounce for our second birdie of the day. So we will take those as we get them, even if they are lucky. That is okay. Heading into the hardest hole that was changed this year. A lot of pros had words on it being too hard of a hole, so that was my time to test if an amateur disc golfer could even par this hole, because birdie wasn't going to happen. Off the tee, going a more stable destroyer to get up, trying to just fade to the left, put myself in an okay position, a little bit too much to the left, I would say, to have another hyzer approach around a tree in the rough to put ourselves in position there for just setting up a par, where we're at the top of the hill going with a yarn really hard, way too hard, I should admit, downhill that just coasted, barely staying in bounce for a long look at par. So thankfully we were able to get a par. I wouldn't say it was an easy par, we definitely worked for that one, but I enjoyed the hole. Overall, I thought that it was good, it was challenging. No way in hell would I ever get a birdie or even question getting a birdie on that hole. Heading to hole 10, I've never seen a farther 377-foot hole in my life, just straight uphill. Seeing eagle long of the basket, I have no idea how that's even possible. I told Swiss that I wanted to get 50 feet away from the basket. I put myself like 150, and I was gladly I did that. I honestly felt after that shot that I put almost all I could into that honey. And yeah, easy pars is what we'll take. Stepping up to hole 11, I liked it because you can just see it. It was an open bomb. You could just let out all the frustration that I was just feeling on a destroyer. Granted, we had a full headwind blasting at us, and Steve Dodge right behind us watching us tee off. So didn't get the absolute prettiest of shots. Set ourselves up for a second hyzer with another destroyer to have a circle 2 luck at birdie and absolutely botch that one. You're not going to get a birdie if you putt like that. Heading to hole 12, a 700-foot par 3. I don't know how anyone's supposed to birdie this one, but I threw a destroyer out there, put ourselves probably still 200 and something back of the basket. Swiss had a nice approach. Hole 13, I put my T-Bird 3 at a little bit too much anhyzer. It didn't want to come back and have that fade. I think it was because of the downhill. I compensated too much for the anhyzer. I should have just let the disc naturally have the turn that it would normally have had. We put ourselves pin high, just absolutely no look at birdie with all the trees and woods in front of me. So take the easy par. Heading into hole 14, I was terrified. You have the entire body of water, 440 feet. I didn't think that there was going to be any way that I would be able to fade far enough to the left, and what I don't think is seen really on Maple Hill 14 is there is this branch that is perfectly in place where you want to throw your shot. Like if that wasn't there, it would be a lot less stress. Don't get me wrong, I'd have the same approach that I have on hole 1. Throw something stable, don't let it have an opportunity to turn hard, and just make sure you got the distance. But you can't really do that here. You have to go wide and hyzer in my opinion, or at least that's the shot that I had. So I went with a destroyer that I was okay with losing, I have to admit, and I threw it way wider than I wanted, a nice hyzer. And honestly, at the end, I got a big boost up from the wind, and I think if I didn't get that wind, I would have been easier for birdie. Putting myself for a circle 2 look for birdie, it was like right on the edge. Nailing it, I might add. One of the best putts, I would say, on Maple Hill. Had Swiss cheese set up for the backboard too. Didn't need it. Barely stuck in the chains, but we'll take a birdie on that hole as well. But especially with how scared I was stepping up to it. Hole 15, narrow gap. I was debating, do I go flip up FD or do I blast the T-Bird 3 and hopefully it stays straight before fading? I went with the T-Bird 3 option, which I'm glad I did. Flashing chains for an ace, going long of the basket. It's nice to see that T-Bird 3 is beat up enough to where I can throw it hard and it'll hold straight, but still have a natural turn at the end. 16 is the famous Kevin Jones ace. I didn't play this one too great. The first day that I played this one with Swiss, I put it on circle's edge. This time I got a little bit too much turn, barely escaping the first tree, getting able to push down, kick a tree, throw in a shot for birdie, but taking easy par. Moving on to 17, a long bomber, going with the same strategy that I've been saying all day, going with that stable destroyer. Throw it hard, won't turn too much, will fade. Put myself a little bit in a tree, so I didn't necessarily have the best footing or run up. Went with the Firebird. I think that I threw it a little bit too hard or a little bit too much anhyzer, or it's too beat up. One of those combinations made the disc not have a full flight, putting ourselves in position for a just not really run at a birdie. Almost got away from me, sat down, got the easy par. Final hole 18, grabbed the honey, just wanted to put a smash, threw it up, hyzer flip, exactly what I wanted to do, middle of the fairway. On the upshot though, I was put in a position on either if we go with a long bomb forehand or if we go with the finesse FD. I went with the FD because I really don't throw forehand on this trip unless it's 250 to 300 feet. I haven't been going for 400-foot forehands, and I don't even think I can throw that anymore. But I've been really liking the honey in the FD for long turnover shots. That's the shot I didn't have before this trip, and playing these longer bomber courses where I need to do more long S's and finesse shots and have more skills, I see myself gaining these shots because I'm forced to throw them at these higher caliber courses. Or at least that's what I'm telling myself. I don't really know. Putting myself right on that OB line at a circle 2 look, splashing out on the left side. Granted, I should have put it on the right side. I'm not saying it was a spit out, but like, come on. You hit that many chains, I should be rewarded. Especially at Maple Hill. I feel like an amateur disc golfer played it pretty damn well. What do you guys think? Leave in the comment section below. I really want to know. Well, that's going to wrap up our trip at Maple Hill. It was so much fun to be out there with the people I met. If you guys enjoyed this type of video, definitely leave a like. I enjoy breaking down my rounds like this because I can give a little bit more perspective, I feel, while not rambling on the course too much. If you like this introspective, definitely make sure to like this video and leave in the comment section below because I am curious if you want to see this or if you want to see just mic'd up rounds, because whatever one you guys want to see, I'll do. I'm not going to waste my time doing what you don't want to do. But thank you guys so much for watching. See you in the next one.